What is going on, everyone? It's your guy Cole Jackson back here on Road Graders, powered again today by BetUS, and we are going to be diving in to one of the hot topics online this week. For the last few weeks, it's going to be Brandon Stephens, and we're going to be taking a look at the game where he mostly matched up against Terry McLaurin against the Washington Commanders. If you guys are looking forward to this breakdown, hit that like button, hit subscribe if you're new here, and I want you guys to hold comments, and here's why. When we go through this, I want you guys to do what I'm going to do. I'm going to hold a lot of my commentary, a lot of my analysis for the end of the video. What I want you guys to do with me here, let's go through this with an open mind. Take your opinion of Brandon Stephens, especially his play this season, and let's park it. We're going to go just off what the film's telling us. We're going to look at 11 plays here together. That's almost a quarter of all of the plays he made. Well, maybe a fifth. Either way, we're going to be looking at a lot of plays, and it's going to include the touchdowns. It's going to include some good, some bad, and we're going to talk about some of the key issues, some of the successes, and let's go through this objectively, park our opinions. Then at the end of the video, or however far in, drop a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. Let's hop into it. Before we do, though, Thursday night football tonight, we got the Broncos against the Saints. I don't know what's going on with this, but I'm jumping on that Saints money line. Maybe I'm crazy. I see the totals at 37. Two really good defenses going at it, two struggling offenses. I don't know. I'm taking that Saints money line. Drop a comment. Let me know what you guys think. And right now, you can use promo code YouTube150 to get 150% sign-up bonus plus 125% on your next two deposits up to $2,000. Thank you to BetUS for sponsoring. So we're going to start here in the red zone. I believe this was after... it was after the Lamar Jackson interception that tipped off Mark Andrews' hands. And so you're going to see 14's going to motion. They're going to get trips to the left. You got Brandon Stephens in here. And one thing that stood out to me is Marcus Williams. So watch as the motion man comes. He starts to panic. You see him clapping his hands. And it looks like something's going on with the coverage adjustment. Marcus Williams looks stressed. And so you're going to see Stephens carry this drag route across. And Terry McLaurin's going to run a corner there. And let's just say, thank God Travis Jones got home on this, because it looks like there's a miscommunication in the coverage. Looks like they're in cover 2 man here. You can see the two safeties here. You got Nate Wiggins in man. But then you also have some zone coverage, because no one's going to take this man across the middle of the field, but they have those two underneath hook zones. And so McLaurin's running a corner. I think if Jaden Daniels doesn't have the pressure coming up the middle, you can see Travis Jones starting to beat his man right there. This is kind of one of the genesis of the Ravens' coverage struggles. Not exactly sure who this should be on. Be curious what you guys think. Stephens seems very committed to this drag route, and this pops out to be the outside receiver who runs that drag. And you see him break on him. So it seems interesting to me that the two outside receivers are in man against the two outside corners, and it looks like they're playing a combo coverage, but nobody drops to take Terry McLaurin running this corner. And let's just say Marcus Williams would have been late on this ball, I'm assuming. So let's just say, thank God, Travis Jones gets it. But this is one of the key things that I've found is trying to identify some of these coverages. They seem to be playing a lot of combo coverages, and it's been difficult to assign, who's doing what in it and how can we park blame. And that's just part of this, right? So Stephens there doing what he does so well, using his athletic ability, breaking down. I think it looks like the two outside corners are in man. Looks like he played it well. Someone didn't pick up that zone, and they just got lucky that Travis Jones got home on it. But that's just kind of my opinion. Be curious what you guys think. So here we're going to get a 3rd and 5 look. And the Ravens are going to play cover 1 man behind this. And so Stephens is at the bottom of your screen against Terry McLaurin. And look at this sticky coverage. Even as we go into the scramble drill, you see Stephens come back in and take McLaurin out of the picture. So you got your deep safety here. Eddie Jackson's here. He dropped down into the cover robber. And so this is going to be a classic. You're playing a zone look, or a man look against a quarterback that can scramble. It's always been hard to do that against Lamar Jackson because he can run, take off, and they pick up the first on the ground. But watch this coverage skill by Brandon Stephens, because this is one thing that he does do so well, is prevent separation. So Terry McLaurin's going to try and set up right there with the slant, and he instantly reacts, and that's that change of direction ability by Brandon Stephens. So right there, as he breaks, he's able to catch up to him, And right there, he's in his back pocket. He's got that right hand loose because if the ball comes in on a slant, he's going to go through that catch point, something that he does so well. And then as McLaurin turns, you see that change of direction skill. And then again, as he comes back in, Stevens is on that back hip, loose left arm or loose outside arm, ready to come through. And this is something that I think is one of Stevens' greatest strengths. So, I mean, some could say, you know, he doesn't see Stevens. That's fine. He's playing man coverage. He's playing his man. He's taking care of business. They weren't able to contain. They weren't able to, they get the pressure here in the backfield, but they're not able to take Daniels down. This is something that Lamar does to teams all the time. A young quarterback that can run like Daniels is going to do it as well. So, you can see that sticky coverage, especially against a slant route, change of direction. You're going to see this looks like cover 3 to me. At least he's going to force and he's going to give a little separation there, but that's because he's playing outside leverage, knowing he's got that deep center safety. So what it shows here is when Terry McLaurin turns upfield, turns on the Jets, Stevens can turn and run. And so he's going to do that. He's going to force him inside. He's going to give him nothing to the outside and force him right into Marcus Williams. If you want to throw that ball, go at it. You're going to throw it right to our safety. Jaden Daniels ends up throwing the check down. So something that he does so well is his ability to play man and zone. And right there, you're just seeing his ability to turn and run. And what he did well on that play was specifically, rather than getting his eyes to the back of the quarterback, he's running fast, sticking with Terry McLaurin, but also his head's back around the ball, so good awareness on that play. He's at the bottom of your screen on this play. He always plays that right cornerback spot. And here's going to be one of the key pieces. So this is such a typical Brandon Stevens play. So we're going to start from press, and Terry's going to release inside, release back outside, and Stevens is going to catch up. And this is balls in the air at this point, eyes to the not turned around, doesn't know the ball is coming. Terry's going to go up for it right there. As his hands release, and I'll show you the other angles, you can see it, Brandon Stevens is going to play his hands. And whether you think this is good, bad, whatever, this is clearly what Brandon Stevens is taught to do. So I'm just going to get up to the catch point. So as the ball is coming, you can see right there, and I'll go back and play it through again. As his hands come up, Stevens' hands come up. But his head, 100% not around to the ball. And you can't really see it, but, well, you can see it a little bit here. So I'm going to go back here, click play, look in your top left corner. Right there, hand goes up, Stevens comes up and gets that PBU. But it is very intentional to me that he is running with his back to the ball, and then he is playing the hands of the receiver. That seems really clear. So opinion on that, would love to hear from folks at the end of this video. What do you think of that? Because that just seems something very intentional, something being coached to Brandon Stevens. And this was something that I thought he struggled with early in his career. And the difference last year when he was playing at such a high level was his head was getting back around. He had a lot more awareness of where the ball was coming. I did about 2 videos on it after 2 key games where he had multiple PBUs because that head was back around. So this is something that I'm interested to watch develop, because obviously in a scenario like this, there was a play last week against T. Higgins where he did get a PBU on the ball, though that one did kind of seem to hit him in the back of the head, but he was playing it the same, where his back's to the ball, but he's playing his hand through the catch point of the receiver, mirroring his hands. So as soon as those receiver hands go up, the corner's hands shoot through. Someone that knows a lot more about DB play could probably give a good opinion on what they think of that, but it seems to me that doing that intentionally, not getting his head back around, allows him to stay stickier in coverage, and he's willing to live with that because he thinks he can play the catch point well, even if he doesn't know where the ball is. So I'm interested to see opinions on that. Again, it looks intentional just because of what we saw last year. So I'm just curious what you guys think of that. So here we're going to get another play from that press man alignment, and this one's going to be caught, and this is just, again, one of those plays that this ball couldn't be placed better. Look how tight that coverage is. The ball couldn't be placed better. The catch couldn't be better. But again, his back's to the ball, and he's diving his hand through the catch point. So it's the exact same thing. It's just on a comeback route. But you can see as the comeback route happens, Brandon Stevens could not be tighter at preventing separation. Play it through one more time, and then we'll take a look at the reverse angle. Again, try and get a little bit of a peek at what happens at the catch point. But this is just one of those plays where, and this is on 3rd down again, so that's another 3rd down play. Terry McLaurin getting another 1st down. I'll try and pause it here. Let's get up to the catch point. It's all blurry just because of the speed, so I'll just play it through a few times. Yeah, you can't see much because the camera's shaking, but if I pause it at the right point, right there, I mean, sorry for the blurriness. It's because the camera's panning and the ball's moving, but his hand is coming right through here. So again, he's playing it the exact same way, and Terry just makes an insane catch on that. So just one of those things where, again, it seems like all these catches need to be highlight reel catches on Brandon Stephens, and that says something about his ability to limit separation. There's no doubt about that. Now we're going to see Stephens in the slot, and we'll just watch him erase. And this ends up getting called back. I believe the right tackle moved, but they are running you're going to see him in a one-on-one matchup here, and this is just his athletic ability from the slot. And you see right there, again, in the back pocket, that outside hand playing loose, ready to go through the catch point. So the whistle blows here. That's why everybody stops moving, because I believe the right tackle jumped. I think this leads to one of the touchdowns. Then we get into Stephens here down at the bottom of your screen. By the way, just love, shout out to Mo Gaba, just love how the Ravens continue to do this. Just absolutely love it. Terry's going to motion in and run that crossing route. And so this is going to be one of Terry's touchdowns. And this is one of those plays where if you could assign fault to two players, I definitely would. I don't know who PFF charged with this, but what they're going to do is they're going to waggle Terry McLaurin down, and then they're going to basically try and run a pick. So as Terry motions down, they're going to run that, and Zach Ertz is going to make enough contact while running his route to set a pick, and they're just going to slant. And so Brandon Stephens ends up running into Zach Ertz, then running into, I believe that's Kyle Hamilton. Is it Kyle Hamilton? Yeah, it looks like Kyle Hamilton. So he runs into Ertz, he runs into Hamilton, but you got Marcus Williams here as a guy in zone. He's got no one to cover. You have man coverage here. You have Stephens man coverage on Terry McLaurin. So that is his man, no doubt about it. The picks caught him, but you're supposed to have a safety here being a safety, and Marcus Williams has no clue where he is, and Terry catches us. So that's what I mean. Like that, sure, Brandon Stephens ran into the picks on it. Good scheme play there, runs into two guys, but Marcus Williams, man, come on. So one of those situations where I would have expected Stephens to play behind the ball on that one, knowing that he had a safety help there, but it doesn't really matter because the safety didn't seem to see it. So again, I think Brandon Stephens still at fault at that. You can't get caught up in those picks. You got to work around it. It's just like playing pick and roll in basketball. You got to work around it. But Marcus Williams has to be able to make a play as a safety there, and he just doesn't. And now again, ball comes out, goes to the other side, but you're going to get trips to the left here, and Brandon Stephens, who's going to start right here, is just going to play that tight coverage against this little whip route. So Terry's going to try and work that out, whip it back inside, and there's that change of direction from Brandon Stephens. And again, he's always playing that back hip. He's going to have that loose inside hand to work through the catch point if the ball comes his way. Now we get into Terry McLaurin isolated against Brandon Stephens, top of your screen. Very similar to that comeback route we saw. Back of the head to the ball. It's almost the exact same catch as that comeback route we watched. Brandon Stephens, and I'll show the other angle because you can see it a little bit, could not be tighter in coverage, literally laying on top of him, going through the catch point, but head to the ball. And that's really the fundamental issue. See it right there. As he's chasing Terry McLaurin, he never gets that head back around. And I actually thought, Terry kind of rips him in the release here. You see that right there? He's going to create the separation there, and that's where Jaden Daniels is going to choose to throw that little fade. But Brandon Stephens with a good recovery, and he's just not able to get it tight enough. So now we'll pause it at the second angle. Pump fake there from Jaden Daniels. But you can't get much tighter than that in terms of coverage. That white glove right here is Brandon Stephens, and he's playing through that catch point. Same theme, same idea over and over again. And Terry McLaurin just makes a hell of a catch. So it really comes down to what's your opinion of that. Is it reasonable enough that these receivers continually make highlight catches against sticky coverage, or should Brandon Stephens be making some concessions, giving up a little bit more separation to work more on his awareness, get that head around, spending more time paying attention to where the ball is, less attention to where his guy is. That's kind of I think the nuance in the conversation that needs to happen. Stevens is going to be at the top of your screen again, right cornerback spot. And you're going to see him break inside here. And it looks like they're in cover 3 because you're seeing Wiggins, you see Williams motion out, or not motion out, drop out into that deep third, and then you got that other third here. And what was interesting to me on this play, because this is one of those PFF coverage things, I'm assuming because he's the closest player, he's going to get charged with the catch allowed here. But you see Roquan and Kyle Hamilton. Watch where they start. So they're going to drop. Watch them drop. They drop into the exact same part of the field. And usually when Kyle Hamilton's playing that nickel roll, or dime roll, sorry, he would be splitting coverages in the middle of the field with Roquan. But yet they're in 2 spots here. Brandon Stevens is going to come from his deep third that's over here and make the tackle. So again, one of those things where, tight coverage at the end of it, probably gets charged with the catch, but doesn't look like that was attributed to him to me. It looks like Kyle Hamilton and Roquan Smith dropped into the same territory. So again, there's so much context that comes into some of these reception numbers. And then I believe we have one more rep here. And really like this one because this is going to come on 4th down right at the end of the game. They're trying to make a comeback. Ravens are going to show not quite, it's pretty much 0 blitz because, you got 1, 1, 1, 1, and that's against Terry. And he's going to run that in-breaking route, and you're going to see Jaden Daniels is going to read that first, and then when he sees it's not clear, he's going to go over to the right side. So snap's going to come. He's going to look left first, and Stevens is just going to have that tight coverage, so then he's going to look off and go right with this ball, and right there. And you see Stevens throughout this entire thing. On 4th down, play of the game, stays with that sticky coverage. So that's what I have for you guys on Brandon Stevens. Kind of my overall thoughts is when you break it down rep by rep, you look at really what's going on. I think you feel a lot better about his performance. I do. And, I think on game day, it's easy to get emotional. It's easy to feel frustrated. And it's easy to feel like he's allowing all these catches. But then when you actually get into it, break it down, how tight the coverage was, what it looked like on film, my God, you can't be better at limiting separation. Literally, statistically, he's one of the best corners in the league in terms of limiting separation. So it's just that last little step of awareness, getting that head around a little bit more. But again, I still think it's something that he's doing on purpose. I think he's comfortable playing the catch point and basically forcing receivers to make highlight catches on him in contested catch situations for them to be successful. So drop a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. That's kind of my analysis of this. Would really love to hear from you guys. Drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think. Hit that like button if you enjoyed this breakdown. Tried to spend a little bit more time on it. And hit subscribe if you're new here. Means a lot to me. Means a lot to the channel. Thank you to BetUS for sponsoring this video.